Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio February 2019 horoscope, part 1 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is, as far as February goes, the Sun will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on one's home life, their family, emotional security. That end or latter part of life could also be on traditions, on roots, ancestry, who the person may be at the core, looking at yourself at the core. Basically, I mean, it could also, looking at this, as well. Now, it also people that are close, feel close to home with. Now, the thing about this is, well, given that this is Aquarius energy, this could be a lot of this energy may be done with a lot of selflessness, a lot of humanitarianism, a lot of unique energy. This might shine the light, so to speak, on who you are. Maybe perhaps at the core it might shine the light on Aquarian qualities such as really perhaps some ingenious or eccentric qualities, perhaps on non-conforming, anything that could be Aquarius related. And also this could be done with a lot of unconventional, unorthodox energy, really innovative. Something where, I mean, but it could also be erratic and sporadic as well, and it could be done with a lot of spontaneity, a lot of extemporaneous energy. So anyway, the next thing up is, as far as February goes, the Sun will be in Pisces from the 18th until the 28th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, there could be a strong focus, concentration of energy and attention on personal popularity, love, romance, children, hobbies, fun, amusement, one's enjoyment, investments, things of a speculative nature, even gambling in some cases, perhaps. Now, given that this is Pisces energy, this may be done with a lot of idealism, a lot of compassion, self-sacrificing energy, especially that focus may be on a lot of self-sacrificing energy with children and perhaps someone you may be in a love or romantic relationship with. Could also be done with a lot of compassion, philanthropy, perhaps, but also just be wary of really deceptive and duplicitous energy. This could be a time where you might be focusing that attention perhaps on children or someone that maybe you share some hobby or thing of amusement, enjoyment. You might be focusing on perhaps some deceptive, perhaps or something deceptive or duplicitous with those people. And anyway, and also it could be with a lot of imagination as well, especially things of a creative nature and things that you do that are really connected with something fun and something that you may enjoy. And also that deceptive and duplicitous energy. It could be also about, I mean, it could be connected with something of connected with investments. You might see something that might seem a little bit shady to you. You might be focusing your attention on that. So anyway, next thing up. There will be a new moon in Aquarius on February 4th, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, well, this could be a time where you might embark on a new friendship that you might, with someone you feel close to home with. This could be also a new period, perhaps of some kind of independence or freedom. It might be from somebody in your home life. It could be something that might give you more emotional security. This could also be the time where you might get maybe a new home. In some cases, this could be Maybe the home is somewhat unusual or unorthodox. It could be something, for example, that's got one of those solar homes, or those ones with those solar panes or panels or what have you. This could be something too where this could, in some cases, it could be the welcoming of a new Aquarius family member or a person you feel close to home with. This could be an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Aquarius-like characteristics. It could be a time, too, where maybe you begin to understand maybe some Aquarius qualities you may have at the core, maybe start expressing them a little bit more, such as very unorthodox, non-conforming, ingenious qualities, perhaps eclectic qualities, ones that are very unique, and maybe even eccentric qualities as well. And anyway, and this could be as well. The next thing, and also too, remember that the fourth house is also about the latter or that latter or end of life period for someone. So especially if you're in this period right now and you're at that latter stage of life, it might be a time where you might be deciding perhaps to show maybe some more selflessness or more humanitarian qualities, more consideration, more Aquarius-like qualities at this time. In that latter part of your life, it might be a time where some of you might feel, well, like when kind of like you can't take it with you when you go, so to speak, if you understand what I'm saying regarding maybe things or possessions you have as an example. So anyway, next thing up, there will be a full moon in Virgo on February 19th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this point in time, this could be a time where, you might be perhaps complete or finished of some kind of incessant worrying about your future. It could be a time where you may be done, maybe extrapolating the future, so to speak, or projecting where you're going to be in the future. This could be the completion or culmination of a Virgo type goal or aspiration. It could be something connected with extrapolation, if that is something that was required some kind of analysis, or something it could have been doing something Virgo related, something like data entry or computer programming, detailing vehicles, if that still exists, something that required, or just something that required a lot of hard work or industry, or something even fitness related or health related. This could also be a time when you're talking about a full moon in astrology. It could be a time where one becomes tired, full, or simply exasperated at something, has had enough of something. It could be a friend or an acquaintance that maybe it could be, in some cases, could be a Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Virgo-like characteristics, or somebody that could be that friend or acquaintance, someone that might be in a group, club, or organization, perhaps is overly critical, judgmental, overly pedantic, overly scrutinizing over one's flaws or defaults, or what have you, and overly worrisome. And maybe it's just a time where you finally might state, enough is enough, basically. And a lot of this too could be putting a lot of that Virgo like service-oriented energy, perhaps very helpful energy, into some humanitarian cause. This could be very good for something like that. If that is something that you might plan or aspire to do, this would be a very good time, I think, for that, because I think actually that Virgo energy would actually work well in some kind of humanitarian type endeavor, actually. So that could be something as something that could really be very positive at this time. Anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Aquarius as far as February goes, from the 1st until the 10th. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this could be about thinking very futuristically about one's latter part, or that end part of one's life. It doesn't mean that someone's going to die at this time. It just means looking at that latter part of life as far as the future goes, and maybe as far as maybe making plans for that, perhaps. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Anyway, also another way this may manifest perhaps is the communication of things that are very, really perhaps new ideas, new concepts, innovative things, communication about technology with family members. Could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, someone you feel close to home with, and also maybe communication about Aquarius-like qualities you may feel you have at the core. It could be talking about maybe some non-conforming qualities, or even some eccentric, or very maybe again very maybe more, maybe in understanding that you're more considerate than what you may actually be showing on the surface. Perhaps just general Aquarius qualities you might be actually talking about, what you think you have at the core. And also remember that Mercury can also be about siblings. It could be about Aquarius siblings. At this point in time, it could be Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aquarius-like characteristics. May figure more prominently in your home life at this point in time. They might play a role in your emotional security. It could be maybe factoring in strongly more with your traditions and getting in touch with your roots and ancestry, perhaps. And as far as the emotional security goes, a lot of that, whether it's good or bad, a lot of it could be dependent on the aspects that this makes, of course, the points in your chart. If this makes, say, an adverse aspect to Jupiter, it might not be very fortuitous for that. Or if it makes an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, it could be making you feel somewhat kind of despondent or overly negative and pessimistic, and it might have that impact maybe on your own emotional security, or maybe another example actually could be really, let's say if it makes an adverse aspect to your Venus, it could be and maybe having a negative impact on your finances, on your monetary situation, and that actually could be more of maybe a better example is how it could have a negative impact on your emotional security. Because obviously, if there's an adverse aspect on your finances, of course, naturally one may not feel as secure emotionally, or just general safety and security. Anyway, next thing up. Mercury will be in Pisces as far as February goes, from the 10th until the 28th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself involved perhaps with some ambiguous and cryptic communications with a romantic partner, somebody. It could be with children. This could be maybe with someone you share some fun or amusement or enjoyment with, a hobby with. You might find yourself at this time to be very careful about perhaps deceptive or duplicitous communications that are associated with something of a speculative or something connected with investments. And really, a lot of this could depend and be predicated on the aspects that this makes, but also just aspects in your chart in general. Let's say, if you're getting, let's say that transit Neptune is making an adverse aspect to your Mercury, it could be a time where you're more susceptible to being beguiled more so than usual. And if this is making an adverse aspect, say, to your natal Neptune, it could be very, it could be a time where you might be more susceptible to maybe to thieves maybe conning you at this time more so than usual. So anyway, you get the idea. So also too, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Pisces siblings. They could be Pisces Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Pisces-like characteristics at this time. Might figure prominently in your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment, more so than usual. They might factor in maybe with activities with children or things of a speculative nature. And again, a lot of this could be whether it's auspicious, whether they play a good role or negative role or adverse role, could depend on aspects that this makes to points in your natal chart at this time. Say if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, it could be where maybe they're causing maybe some restrictions to some degree and limitations as far as you having some kind of amusement and enjoyment, and they might be more to your detriment and might be making you feel maybe somewhat, more disconsolate or despondent, and of course that could impact the enjoyment element of your life. So anyway, last but not least, Venus will be in Sagittarius as far as February goes, from the 1st until the 3rd. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this point in time, this may manifest perhaps in valuing sports, outdoors, and athletics, and it might impact your self-worth and self-esteem perhaps very positively. It could be a time, too, where you may find yourself enjoying doing something Sagittarius-like as far as making money. It could be something connected with sports, doing something outdoors. It could be something perhaps with advertising, publishing, doing something associated with foreign travel, or just in a travel agency in general. It could be as a travel advisor or working as a pilot, and also maybe even publishing as well at this time. And also, this could be about Sagittarius relationships. They could be Sagittarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Sagittarius-like characteristics. Might at this time may factor in strongly with your self-worth, your self-esteem, and even in perhaps your possessions and resources at this time as well. And also you might find yourself spending exuberantly and enthusiastically on in terms of accumulation of possessions, or perhaps even spending money in order to make money. Just be careful that you're not spending recklessly at this time. And a lot of this, again, could depend on the aspects this makes as to whether you're just simply spending just somewhat exuberantly and enthusiastically on some things, or whether this is just something where you're just spending with almost this reckless abandonment to the point where it might really be to your detriment. And also this could be about the love of Sagittarius-like things, such as this general philanthropy, and it's something that you may, or perhaps even religion and philosophy, and something that you may value as well. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio February 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Scorpio February 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.